He's listening. Okay. Thank you. Let's go to our next caller. Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. From Myers, and good morning to the Deputy Speaker, incoming Speaker of the 56th legislation. And let me appreciate, people who have the experience, people who have the ability to do the job should be given it. That's why his political alignment. Honorable Fonati Koffa is the man that's supposed to do it. But first of all, my name is Robert River Slata Ibrahimovic, calling from Monrovia Junction, President Monrovia. Fonati Koffa is capable to be, because the man has experience, the man has served as Deputy Speaker, is certainly capacity, understand parliamentary proceeding, he understands how to coordinate, how to bring people together. There's a man who is a Deputy Speaker that cuts across. That man does not have a boundary say because you are a citizen lawmaker, so as to you are an opposition lawmaker. I think with you, he brings people together and coordinates. These are people who are looking for. He has a past experience, loyal. So
in the world of Jerome, you are a political sans frontier. So let's take this call from here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Maya. Good morning to the team.
This is Patrick Eastman. You are a journalist, so you have some preference here. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, because the afternoon hours. Well, I'm concerned about the 54th legislature, where Honorable Koffa served as the Deputy Speaker. During the 54th legislature, major sessions were interrupted by some colleagues in terms of being disenchanted. What different way be honor a Fonati Koffa leadership if elected Speaker? And the next thing is, I heard the Deputy Speaker talk about, on one point in time, he recused himself. He left session because his team of lawyers from his law firm were called. On what ground did he leave session if he retired or resigned since 2016 from the law firm?
But I think the clarity will be provided. We will hold it at that and allow the Deputy Speaker to respond to some of the questions, and we'll come back to the telephone lines. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
What was his first question?
He asked the first question. It was about your colleagues. Yeah.
Okay, so let me start from the beginning.
Okay.
Molba, I think that was his name. No. From the beginning, the first person, I think his name was Molba. He talked about Deputy Speaker. So when we envisioned building this block, we built it around the Speaker leadership. Subsequently, there have been others within the block who have expressed interest in the Deputy Speakership. And they are allowed, as a block, to develop blocks within blocks, if you will. And to even reach out to people who are not members of the block to build their own blocks. So it's a progressive process. Will there be a time when, as a block, we develop a consensus candidate for Deputy Speaker? Perhaps. I don't know. We are still in the process of these buildings. So that's that. The second question from Octavian, I don't understand this thing. It's a coded sedition. What does that mean? I'm a member of the CDC. I bleed blue. The CDC has not wavered on its support for me. In fact, the CDC endorsed my speakership. Because we cut across does not mean we don't belong to a political institution. We belong to a political institution, and it is because we belong to a political institution that we cut across to bring others of like mind to be able to perform the task of the people. Colleagues and their behavior in session. Look, in any parliamentary body, you have certain degree of rancor, right? But the public has had the opportunity to judge my leadership style in presiding. I don't think I've had, during any time that I presided, any event so rancorous that we were not able to control it. I don't think it will be any different, but I don't think you will see the kind of rude and dramatic outbursts, because I think part of what happens in legislative debate is give everyone the opportunity to speak. Give everyone the opportunity to put on the agenda what he wants to. That's your job as speaker, not to control what people want or what they want to say, but to moderate the flow so that every voice gets heard in a reasonable fashion. I think if you do that, you will find that you will have less rancor within the body. B mounting. Okay, so I never said my team of lawyers have been called. there has been no lawyer that has been called from ILG before the legislature. But as a matter of principle, I know that B Mountain, one of their lawyers, is a lawyer from my firm. So automatically, that's my own self-policing. The rules don't require that. I left session. Same as UCI. My daughter is general manager over there. When their matter came, I left session. Okay? I do that as a matter of principle. Okay? I don't have to be there. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to listen to anybody. I don't have to participate. So the lawyers were not called, but the fact that there was B Mountain matter that came on the floor, I walked out of the session because I did not want to participate. That is how I have behaved. And so I'm shocked that somebody would say I have come and have represented. The other thing is with Pony, that would make, when I tell people I needed to respond, some people say, oh, don't mind that, it's politics. Simply because these things get ingrained in people. If Pony was listening to the show, with all my explanation, he could go to these public corporations and find out from them. If I'm, other than the CBL and LPRC, if you find out we've done any work during my deputy speakership for any public corporation, then you can take issue with me. But I'm telling you, don't take my word for it. Go to these public corporations and ask them. And then, the maritime boss is a good friend of mine. Okay? He doesn't need to retain me for me to give him one or two legal advice when it comes to maritime, because I work for them. I was retained for them in 2009, 10, and 11. Okay? No, I'm sorry. Yes, 2009 to 11. So my association with them, not only institutionally for institutional memory, also comes from my friendship. Eugene Namwe is my friend. So when you see him with me, it doesn't mean to say I represent him. The late Euron Cohen was a friend. Okay, I never represented him. Pierre Ntue represents Liska. But Euron Cohen was a friend. Okay, a friend who I grieved when he died. When you see me with these people, you automatically assume I'm their lawyer. I'm not. I'm allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to have associates. So I just wanted to clarify those on the record.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. We'll go back to the telephone lines. We begin from here, 077577475. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear brother.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let me say a pleasant good afternoon to your colleagues and Deputy Speaker Fonati Koffa. For the public, this is the voice of Jimmy M. Waro, and I join the conversation from Nikuta. What I want to say here is, I don't think we need scientists to tell us that Deputy Speaker Fonati Koffa is capable enough to serve as Speaker for the upcoming government. For the fact that the little opportunity that was given to him as Deputy Speaker to preserve, we saw how well the man organized himself. We saw how well the man organized the entire house there. Therefore, if he's given the opportunity, I'm very sure that there will be a boss that is honor the presidency of Ambassador Tuzen Nyamabwaka. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next call. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, my dear brother. How you doing? Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Victor Balo, the chairman of the National Police Bureau of Liberia. And I call you from Grand Cape County. Yeah, let me say thanks to the Deputy Speaker for all of what he has said. But I have a concern. And that concern has to do with certain records coming out of the United States that when he was there, he was involved with the duping of clients of over 500,000, which led to his incarceration, and not just that, the revocation of his license to practice law in the United States. How can he actually address that?
Thank you. We heard you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
The name of what you call from?
Yeah, I'm calling on the show now. Is it on stand?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm David Monrovia, and I have some concerns for the incoming speaker, Fonati Koffa, the honorable. I want to know if those issues that have to do with legislation and the laws, which one he knows that it's not saving the liberty. And in particular, my question comes to our children, many of whom are accused of rape falsely, and they are not even before they were to be proven that no one being to do tests, and we learn that the machine is at GSK. And the men and languages behind Bako are dying. They want to visit my son. I saw their condition. They tell me, when will they put a machine in place? Because when they have to come to rescue the men. Why is equally so that gender based violence is wrong? But women should stop lying and community people should lie on people. And they.
Okay, I think your points are well taken. We will just stop right there and go back to the deputy speaker to respond to these questions. We take one or two more calls and then we go back into the interview.
Okay, so I think your caller from Cape Town talked about some 20-year-old story, the duping of client, which is a misnomer. No clients were duped. There was an error in our trust account. And as usual, I take full responsibility for anything that happened under my watch at any institution during my watch. How the funds were managed while I was in Abuja at the Comprehensive Peace Conference, I have not asked anybody. I have taken full responsibility for that. It's a 20-year-old story. But more germane, have I, here in Liberia, as a lawyer, duped any client? No. Have I here in Liberia, as a lawyer, acted in any way unloyally? No. Why are you worrying about America? Let's talk about my record in Liberia. And because they cannot find anything in Liberia, in the 20 years I have been here, practicing law in public service, they got to go all the way to America 20 years ago. And, you know, I can stop you, but judge me by the record that I have. Because, as I said, I'm not a perfect person. I'm a public servant. And if my record as a public servant leaves something to be desired, then attack that record. Forget about 20 years ago in America. As for the rape machine at JFK, I'm not sure why I'm asked. I'm not an employee of JFK, but as a lawmaker, I will follow up as my oversight to find out what's the issue with the rape machine, and I will certainly then let you people know the answer to that, and you can inform the public.
Okay, thank you so much. We go back to the main issue. Now, during the course of the 54th legislature, we witnessed some massive reforms at the Senate, where the voting process at the Senate changed from a yea-nay vote to voting on the record. And so senators can go back to the Gazette of the Senate and say, I voted this way and that way. And the public can judge them by the record. Those reforms went on without the legislature following the steps of the Senate. We want to know as to whether your speakership is going to follow the normal of the legislature, or will be a fundamental and ideological departure from the norm. What is it going to be?
Okay, so I was saying to you later on today, my legislative agenda, or what we call platform. One of the things we want to do is bring the House into the modern regime. You know, not only because of the public, but for myself. Sometimes I'm sitting with my staff and I go back and I ask, how did we vote on this piece of legislation? And people struggle to remember. So even for myself and my own record, it's important that we come to digitalizing the House of Representatives by having electronic voting, by having voting that can be put on record. So we are for that. We also want to do infrastructure. The building we are in has not been renovated for so many years. And engineers tell me the rotunda may fall at any time. Okay, so those are things we want to institute. We want to make sure our colleagues have all of the access. We want to make sure that the institutions here work. We want to make sure that the 55th is a functioning body. And in order to do that, you have to have functioning institutions within the 55th legislature. So all of that, including electronic voting and more, we envision in the 55th to come.
Okay.
Just one last question from my end. You've built this blog, very supportive. As a matter of fact, they've signed up to a resolution expressing their commitment to voting you as Speaker of the 55th Legislature. You've come this far. My question is there any possibility that you can back up from this race at this point? Can anything be a reason for you to back up from this race?
Oh, because it's a broad question, I would say anything is possible, but it is not likely. Okay? You could name any number of things. Some tragedy. But there's nothing politically. There's nothing political. We've built a block. We have synergized our thoughts on what we want. The block is solid. They say you can lie to people, but you can't lie to yourself. We see the numbers, we produce the numbers every day, yet other people are saying, oh, they're lying to you, they're deceiving you. Well, we'll see. Okay? People drive all the way to Ralphie, 38 persons, and they are deceiving. I want to see that kind of deceit. I just don't see it in these men and women of the 55th. The numbers are solid. We've been able to discount of the 47 persons we have discounted 6 as actually floating, and so we are still standing at a strong 41. I think when we get into the new year, we will add on to this block because we are in discussions with several other persons to join us to make a strong and viable majority block of the 55th.
So in conclusion, because of time, because of time, I would like for you to respond to this thought publicly. Let me breach protocol a little bit and allow Jerome Campbell to ask a question.
Okay, as Fonati Koffa, everybody knows me, and I'm not sure people who know in the name Fonati Koffa have any apprehension. When we see you as an executive of the CDC wanting to become speaker, reasonably we have some apprehension. How do you allay the fear of people from the other side? What kind of speaker will you be if you win as expected by Mesa and Sibo? Will you be a combative speaker, overly powerful, very strong speaker, or executive friendly speaker?
No, but you have to ask, you have to look what in my record would define. I mean, I'm not somebody who's going to change overnight. But just stop talking about CDC like some kind of disease. The CDC is a vibrant political party. Will probably be the majority party in the opposition. Because the CDC takes a position, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's necessarily wrong or combative. We believe in the party. We think the party will do well in the opposition. We think the CDC is not here to obstruct. The CDC rather is here to work with the administration and to do the job of the Liberian people. And remember, in the CDC block are a lot of independents and other like-minded persons. So it's not any kind of mentality or mentality of doing the Liberian people business that we bring to the 55th. It is not even a partisan mentality.
Okay, we'll take the last question from Takas Menodesi, and then we'll go back to you.
Thank you, Deputy. The last time we checked, the House of Representatives ordered the leading body of Summit 12. And since then, I'd like to go outside a little bit because you know, the court. And since then, we've not heard anything. What would be your position on this charge of contempt?
Oh, but as the officer who presided when it happened, I don't know what has happened subsequently because I have not presided subsequently. I have not followed up subsequently. The order of the House remains the order of the House until it is otherwise expunged. And so I will check with the Sergeant at Arms and the records of the House to find out what happened in that case. But I'm not in a position to overturn single-handedly any decision that was made by the House of Representatives.
Okay, we go back to the Deputy Speaker for a final word, if you have any.
Okay, before we depart, I would like for us, not necessarily to stand, but just bow for a few minutes to remember the late Madison Guion. He was our colleague. We served with him very briefly. He won his re-election. He was a man who was committed. He was a member of this bloc. We will miss him. So let's bow for a few minutes. Thank you very much. To close with your audience, you know, my brother who lives in the States is here visiting the country, and he said to me, you know, this is the first time we've seen speaker election like this. Is it because of you? I said, no. It is because our democracy is growing. Our people want to know who is heading their first branch of government because there have been a lot of talk about rubber stamping before. And so this vigorous exercise is part and parcel of the game. What is also part and parcel of the game is the smear. Those who can win you by persuading or putting the platform are going to smear you. That is one of the things I have to prepare for. I have prepared my family for that the next 2 weeks After the new year, the first 2 weeks until the 15th, we'll see a lot of personal smear on my person. It has become part of the politics. I don't relish it, but it's a challenge that we will take. I'm glad that no amount of smear will sway our block. It's a solid block based on principles. And so for those who are preparing, and we have seen some of their work, bring it on, we are prepared. To the people of Liberia, we say once again, the time for politics is over. The time for governance is here. Liberians yesterday welcomed back into the country the president-elect. There was a lot of elated faces at the airport and his Thanksgiving service. We wish him well. We are here and we are prepared to work with him. It is the Liberian people who is our ultimate desire and responsibility to see them prosper and to see them peaceful and to see them happy. That is our desire. If we do that in the next 6 years, we would have done our jobs. Thank you.
Voice of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Councillor J. Fonati Koffa. Thanks to Joy 101.5 FM for airing this, ABC Radio 105.7, Prime FM 105.5, Hot FM 107.9, Voice of Liberia 101.1, OK FM 99.5, and Bana FM. And this is also being relayed by Voice of Braincool County, Radio Antenna, and Voice of Sasstown within the Southeast. Thanks to all of you. And the online platforms, KMTV, Vision TV, Front Page Africa Online, Golden TV, Freedom TV, Spoon TV, and Joy TV Liberia. Thanks so kindly. My name is D. Benjamin Myers, and I've been here with 5 other panelists. It has been a good time. Do have yourselves a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Okay, Spoon TV, always a pleasure. We'd like to say thanks for watching what an intriguing interview with these 6 panelists quizzing the Deputy Speaker on barrage of allegation levied against him by the outgoing Speaker, Dr. Buford Chimot, and you're listening to his response in relation to that. And Chokon Flaman has been behind the camera doing all the shot. My name is Haji Masale. Always would like to say thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure having you here on Spoon TV because we are dishing out Liberia's best. Thanks so much.